What would your life look like if you never had to close your eyes again? No tired mornings, no snoozing alarms, just endless time day after day, night after night. What would you do with an extra 26 years of consciousness? Really think about it, because that's what we're diving into right now. The biological clock. To understand the full weight of what a sleepless society might mean, you need to know why sleep exists in the first place. Right now, every night when you drift off, your body isn't just taking a break, it's doing vital maintenance. Your brain sorts memories, your muscles repair, and your immune system resets. This isn't just optional, it's hardwired into your biology. The average adult needs around 7 to 9 hours of sleep every single day. That's almost a third of your life spent in unconscious darkness. About 26 years of your lifetime gone, just sleeping. And those hours are ruled by what scientists call your circadian rhythm, a natural biological cycle that repeats roughly every 24 hours, telling you when to feel tired and when to feel alert. Now imagine that entire system just didn't exist. No sleep pressure, no biological need for downtime. You're fully energized always. Your mind is sharp. Your body is ready. Your days never end. But would that be a dream or a nightmare? The gift of time and the pressure that comes with it. Let's say that starting tomorrow you never need to sleep again. You suddenly have 8 extra hours every single day. That's over 2,900 more hours per year. What would you do? Clockify.com says the average full-time worker in the US puts in about 1,892 hours annually. That means with those extra hours, you could technically work 2 full-time jobs and still have time left. At first, this sounds incredible. Just think of the skills you could learn, the hobbies you could master, the books you could finally finish, more time to be with family, more time for side hustles. But then it hits you. Would you even be allowed to use that time how you want? In a world without sleep, work hours wouldn't stay the same. Employers would quickly catch on. If everyone's awake all the time, why not keep businesses running 24/7? Night shifts would vanish, not because no one wanted them, but because every hour would be a shift. You could find yourself working 12 hours a day, then 16, maybe more. No one gets tired anymore, right? Why not squeeze every ounce of productivity out of you? Homes without bedrooms. Now zoom out and look at your home. Your bedroom, the soft bed, the blackout curtains, maybe that white noise machine becomes obsolete. Why keep a room dedicated to something you'll never do again? In this new world, living spaces would shrink. Bedrooms would transform into office nooks, hobby zones, or mini gyms. Maybe there'd be a pleasure room, a space dedicated purely to intimacy, since love and connection would still need a private corner. But no more cuddling until you drift off. No more lazy Sunday mornings under the sheets. Just stimulation. Constant stimulation. What happens to rest when there's no reason to stop? The eternal nightlife. Now let's step outside. It's 2:14 a.m., but instead of empty streets and closed stores, the city is alive. Restaurants are packed, DJs are still spinning, museums, theaters, bookstores, all open, all buzzing, always. That's the kind of world you'd live in. Nightlife wouldn't be a weekly escape anymore, it would become a 24/7 lifestyle. According to market projections, the pubs, bars and nightclubs industry is already expected to grow by over $27 billion between 2024 and 2028. Now imagine that in a world where people never sleep. You wouldn't party until you crash, you'd just keep going. Would people become hedonistic? Would boundaries disappear? Would every night turn into a modern-day Sodom and Gomorrah? Because if there's no need to rest, no come down, no moment of reset, maybe the night never ends. And maybe that's not such a good thing, the loneliness of the sleepless. But here's where things start to get tricky. Let's say you're the only person who doesn't sleep. That means every single night you're alone. Everyone you know, your partner, your friends, your co-workers, is fast asleep for a third of every day. It might get lonely, and not just a little lonely, existentially lonely. You might turn to online communities, chatting with people on the other side of the world. Maybe you and someone in India or Australia become best friends because their daytime matches your nighttime. If you have a partner, it might get awkward. 8 whole hours every night just waiting for them to wake up. You might get more time together during the day, but no downtime, no space. One expert told Live Science that couples need separation. Being around each other 24/7, even with love in the mix, can lead to stress, arguments, and boredom. So weirdly enough, not sleeping could hurt your relationships more than help them. You might have to change your dating profile to say, "I don't sleep," and see how many people swipe left. Now imagine a whole family of non-sleepers. Parents, kids, grandparents, all awake all the time. Sounds chaotic, right? Sleep isn't just for rest, it's space. It's a mental reset. It's how people cool off after a fight or simply get away from each other. Without it, even small annoyances could become unbearable. The mental toll. Here's where things get even more complicated. Let's talk about your mind. Sleep isn't just a luxury for your body, it's therapy for your brain. It regulates emotion, it helps you process trauma, it gives you a break. In a world without sleep, sure, we'd get rid of disorders like insomnia, sleep apnea, and narcolepsy. That's good news. But would we also lose the psychological reset button that sleep gives us? Right now, more than 280 million people worldwide suffer from depression, according to the World Health Organization. Sleep for many is the only time they feel peace. Without it, those quiet hours disappear. No escape, no disconnection. Would people become more anxious, more paranoid, and more overwhelmed by a world that literally never shuts off? Would your mind break before your body does? The ethical dilemma. Let's say this whole scenario started with a medical breakthrough. Maybe it's a pill, maybe it's a genetic edit. Whatever it is, it lets humans bypass sleep entirely. But what if it's expensive? What if only the rich can afford it at first? Now you've got a class divide between the sleepless elite who work, live and grow non-stop and the rest, who still have to sleep, still lose a third of their time, and fall behind. Would employers start favoring the sleepless? Would the sleep needing be seen as lazy or less evolved? And here's the thing. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights includes the right to rest and leisure. But what happens when rest is no longer biological, but optional? Would you even be allowed to choose rest? Big pharmas collapse and rise in new areas. Now think about what a sleepless society would mean for entire industries. The pharmaceutical sector, for one, would be flipped upside down. Billions of dollars are currently poured into sleep aids, melatonin, sedatives, and insomnia treatments. Without sleep, all of that vanishes. Companies like Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson would be forced to pivot. Instead of sleep medication, you'd see a boom in drugs for mental resilience, sensory control, and maybe even mood regulation. You wouldn't need sleeping pills, but you might need something to dull the effects of living in a non-stop, overstimulated world. Food without meal times. You eat breakfast to start your day, lunch to refuel, dinner to wind down. But when your day never ends, when does dinner even happen? You'd probably eat more often. Smaller meals, more frequently, restaurants would stay open 24/7, delivery services would boom, and food production would have to scale dramatically. And you wouldn't just eat for energy, you'd eat out of boredom, out of habit, out of emotion. Obesity might skyrocket, or we might develop new foods engineered for constant energy, perfectly balanced for a body that never rests. Evolution. Step back even further now. Let's talk about the species. If humanity never needed sleep, would we evolve differently? One theory says our night vision might improve dramatically. After all, if we're active 24/7, we need to see in all conditions. Our eyes might adapt. Our skin might develop different rhythms of hormone release. Our strength and stamina might increase without fatigue slowing us down. And maybe over thousands of years we'd become something almost inhuman. Creatures of pure productivity, never stopping, never breaking down. Are there real sleepless people? You might be wondering, has this ever actually happened? Sort of. There's a Vietnamese man who claimed he hadn't slept in 46 years. Seriously. He was even studied by researchers in Vietnam. Whether or not that's fully true, we don't know, but he once said he felt like a plant without water. That doesn't sound like a fun way to live. There's also Al Herpin, the so-called man who never slept. The New York Times reported on him back in 1903, saying he hadn't slept in 10 years but was still in perfect health. He said he didn't sleep, just rested. He lived to 94. When he died, it didn't seem like sleep deprivation had anything to do with it. Maybe he really did beat the system, or maybe he was just the world's best power napper. The hidden cost of immortality. Here's the twist. You think the biggest gain from sleeplessness is time, but time, unchecked, is a burden. Without natural breaks, you lose track of what matters. You don't appreciate weekends when there are no weekdays. You don't crave connection when you're always plugged in. And you don't value peace when you never experience silence. Sleep isn't a flaw, it's a feature, a soft boundary that gives meaning to the day. Take that away, and you might not become more powerful, you might just become more lost. What would you do with those 26 extra years of wakefulness? Would you use your extra hours to live or just exist longer? And maybe, just maybe, would you miss dreaming?